Alright, here we are with the game. Sorry I took a while to commentate these. I remember I played very badly, though, during these games, so that's unfortunate. In any case, here we are with a hand that we cannot keep. Let me get the size of this right. That's about right. It's possible we keep this. It does have a tri-land. We have a signet. We could get the things. I don't know. We decided to throw it back, though. I think one land is not enough, given what this deck is trying to do. I think we would have needed to get really lucky to get out of that hand. Our opponent is mulliganing as well. This is a keepable hand. It's got Core Skyfisher. It's got some things we can do. I'll take it. Land? Yeah, sure. Draw our land. Play our Arcane Sanctum. I like this deck a lot. I think it was pretty good. I don't see a reason to play the Core Skyfisher just yet. Oh, yeah. We're going to hit our 4-drops here. And this is the nice thing about this deck, and I think a lot about this format. Just playing big 4-drops seems like such the way to go. I should probably be playing my Desecration Demon post-combat. I don't think it really matters too much. Here we go. Hit with the Demon. Play a Tower Gargoyle. I could have Grizzly Spectacled the Rock's Warmonk. He attacks in. I'll trade. You got a trick? Strength in numbers? Sure. Wayfaring Temple? Alright. I'll hold back with the Desecration Demon this time. Get my Tower Gargoyle back with Burial Rites, which is mostly the reason why I attacked with, or blocked with it in the first place, even though we were pretty sure he had a trick. Gave me something efficient to do with the Burial Rites. Hit him, and I'm just going to leave up my stuff here. Okay. No attacks? Alright. Well, I'll kill a guy anyways. Let's get rid of that guy, because that could get out of hand. I don't really want to Core Skyfisher. I could. Kind of just wanted to Denrova Horror. I ended up going with Pilfered Plans here. I'm not sure this is correct. I felt like we were in a situation, though, where the only way he gets out of this is if I kind of can't find removal for some big thing. So I kind of wanted to dig for removal here. Playing the Denrova Horror, I know his hand is a bunch of not very good stuff right now, and making him bounce back, I don't know, Rock's Warmonk is a play, but I'd rather kill the Rock's Warmonk, and just having a 4/4 on the ground isn't a big deal, so I wanted to dig for removal, try and solve any problem that he could have. Sin Collector is actually pretty interesting, because now I get to see exactly his hand, and make sure that everything I have is going to hit. Also, I didn't find any removals, so no tricks to keep up. Yeah, his hand is pretty bad. This is stuff that I don't really care if he discards with the Denrova Horror. But now that I know what his hand is, I'll know when to play the Denrova Horror, basically. I can consider kind of sandbagging a land here, because I do have stuff in my deck that might care. But I think just playing the land is correct here. Get all my mana. I mean, I've already got a bunch of cards in hand that I want to play. I don't want to hold anything. Tandem Lookout, huh? But what are you going to pair it with? Alright, you pair it with a Centaur Healer. And decides to swing. Alright, so he's basically trying to get in a free attack here, and he's going to bounce back his Centaur Healer, I presume, because we know he has the Deputy of Acquittal. So I'll block the Centaur Healer, and then he'll get in for 6. Seems like a fair play. Momentary Blink. Alright, so he drew that. That's fine. Gains 3 life. I'm still in a pretty good spot here. Gideon's Lawkeeper is really nice. I'm just going to keep in bashing with this demon. Put him on a clock. Make sure he can't really have anything that big. And I'll just Denrova Horror here. I don't want him kind of lifelinking again. So even just, you know, he gets to keep his guy, but if I can prevent him from bringing that lifelink in again, then I've got lethal in the air, right? And he's really got to do something, because I can tap down his Flicker Wisp. So he's in a bind here where he needs to kind of answer my stuff. He's going to have to start sacking creatures to the Desecration Demon. He doesn't have his lifelinker anymore, so there's no shenaniganery with that. He can Momentary Blink his Flicker Wisp, right? And kind of avoid the situation, but he's in a rough spot at this point. He's digging for cards with his Coiling Oracle. Needs to find something. Does not leave enough mana up for Momentary Blink now, though. So he does have to sacrifice, otherwise I will tap down his Flicker Wisp. Yep. I'm just going to hold back. He's getting Edicted every turn. I'm just going to get to bounce back this Denrovo Horror. Oh, I bounced back the Sin Collector. Alright, I guess I'm more interested in seeing what his hand is, making sure that he doesn't have anything. Sensor Splicer and the Rocks Warmonk. And we get Lingering Souls. Yes, please. This card is so good. Yeah, this game is pretty much over. I mean, our board is so much bigger than his. We can tap down a lot of the stuff he has. He has to keep sacrificing things to the Desecration Demon or he dies. We find our Seance, which is okay, but not really what we're looking for here. I'll trade. And cast my Lingering Souls. Seance. Bring back Entomber Exarch. I probably shouldn't even be showing him these cards. I'm pretty sure this game is super over. We take a removal spell, Sever the Bloodline, so that's good to know. I did not think he would have Sever the Bloodline in his deck. And that's game. He has no way of winning. Our board position is just way too big at this point. Alright, so game 2. Yeah, this is a keepable hand. Signet into Exarch probably is the play. And if we find any other 4-drop, we could be good to go. Tower Gargoyle is also really tempting. Given that he's sort of Bant, and his really only removal is that Sever the Bloodline, it looks like, which kind of makes sense given how desperate he is for removal. I don't find a 3rd land, which is why I don't Signet, because I don't think I can ramp up to 4. Or sorry, I don't know why I did that, actually. I don't think Pit Keeper was that smart of a play. Because I'm not going to block with Pit Keeper. Yeah, we've made a misplay here. Like I said, I feel like I misplayed in a lot of these games. Sure. So delaying my 4 drops is a bad idea. Well, alright. Let's just Entomber Exarch, see what his hand is. This gets a blocker on the board. Momentary Blink, Rootborn Defenses, Deputive Acquittals. His hand is a bunch of nothing. Yeah, sure. I'll take the Rootborn Defenses. I don't really want him populating. Even though he does have a lot of stuff that he wants to blink here. I'm more worried about him getting out some angel tokens or something and then populating. I consider how I want to tap. And we'll Pilfered Plans. And I'm feeling really in control of this game. Hit my land drop. And we're off to the races. Ghostly Flickers 2 dudes. Hits another land with the Coiling Oracle and Augur of Bolus. I don't believe found him anything. Slime Molding. Alright. This is me wanting to dig for removal now. Of course, Skyfisher seems incorrect. I'd rather just Augur of Bolus look for removal. We take the Momentary Blink that we know is in his hand. Sin Collector. Alright. Takes our Forbidden Alchemy. Yeah, I'll block with that. I have an Unburial Rites in the yard. I kind of want to do that. I also have Seance, so I can start Seancing things back. Augur of Bolus should have happened last turn, I think. We don't find anything with the Augur. I think we just drop our Seance here. Yep. And then we can bring back creatures on his turn to chump block this Ooze and get value out of them. Entomber Exarch, we'll take another look at his hand. We decide not to bring back the Entomber Exarch. Interesting. I guess because I knew his hand was nothing but land at this point, basically. Well, I'll keep chumping, though. Because it's just more things for me to bring back with Seance. This card is really powerful. I'm not going to bring it back on my turn, of course. Compulsive Research. Yeah, that's nice. Grizzly Spectacle. That solves a lot of our problems. Should have just been digging for this from the start. And I'll just drop the Tower Gargoyle now. I'm just going to bring back another guy to chump block next turn. Entomber Exarch. Surely this is the turn, right? Do I bring back my Augur or do I go after him? I go after him to make sure he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything. Deputive Acquittals. Not a lot. Acquittals back his Coiling Oracle. Alright, that's good. If he had brought back his Sin Collector, that probably would have been really bad. Severs the Bloodline. Sure. I'll chump block, yes, sir. And I decide to gang up on this Rock's Warmonk. I don't want him gaining too much life. Seance back my core Skyfisher. No, thank you. Only gonna Seance things back on his turn, that way I have blockers. Play the Desecration Demon, leave up Grizzly Spectacle. I decide to main phase it because I'm worried he might draw a counterspell or something along these lines. We bring back an Augur of Bolus, and the value train is just going off here. We're going to win this game pretty easily, I think. His board is a bunch of nothing, bunch of 1/1s. I'm getting crazy value again and again. Might as well Inquisition. He's got 2 lands. Alright. And I'll start pounding with this guy. No problem. I'm going to have stuff to bring back. Yep, core Skyfisher. Bounce back a land because I don't have enough in my yard to Pit Keeper. Lingering Souls, huh? Well, that pretty much closes it out. Just keep pounding with my big flyer. Lingering Souls. I only do 1 because I know he's got the flashback of Sever the Bloodline, so I kind of want to trade this off in pieces. Sure. He swings with the team. I'm just going to take some blocks here. Nice. Less things for him to sacrifice to my Desecration Demon, which means less turns for him to do anything. I'm going to get the Seance stuff back. We flash back Lingering Souls now. I'm at 14. His 1-powered creatures aren't a big threat. Aether Toe's my guy. Alright, not a permanent solution, though. Baloth Cage Trap pays the full price. Bring back my Pit Keeper. Just for chump blocking. He Flicker Wisps my core Skyfisher. I'll make my trades. And we get to replay Desecration Demon, which is bigger than anything he has. And he decides to swing in. I'll block. I have an Unburial Rites, so I want to Unburial Rites this Desecration Demon if I can. Besides, what could he really have? Strength in numbers? Sure. Well, I do get to Unburial Rites. Path to Exile. Well, that's just perfect. And this game is really over. He's got 6 cards left in his library. He's just run out of gas completely. And we just get to Unburial Rites this. Seance back, nothing. I don't need anything. He wants to attack and he can. I'm just gonna beat him down in the air here. Extractor Demon. Yeah, this game is super over. He can't win against this. I think I just have a win here. I could basically Path to Exile his Beast or Augur, doesn't matter. And then I could get back the Skyfisher with Seance. No, that's not enough, is it? Either way, we can remove most of the cards in his library at this point. Core Skyfisher. I bounce a land, though, because I just don't care. And he concedes. He's not going to win this. 4 cards left in his library. So, pretty easy game. I'm really not liking these sort of Bant decks. It's nice that he had Sever the Bloodline to give him some extra removal, but this is kind of the classic problem. He doesn't have a way of killing my creatures, and he's not aggressive enough to really pressure me. A lot of turns I just played a bunch of lands and then made my 4 drops. And in this game, I actually delayed playing my Signet to play a Pit Keeper for some reason. And still just did fine. A bunch of 1-power stuff trying to beat me down. Wasn't really what I was looking for. So I feel like a lot of Bant decks end up kind of in this range where it's just like their removal is Aether Toe, and they just have a bunch of stuff like this that doesn't really get there. I'm liking much more these blue-black X type decks, whether or not they're 3-color or 4-color. And so pretty easy game, I felt. Or pretty easy match. All right, match 2. Where am I here? Alright, here we go. Match 2. Match 2, I win the die roll. I'll decide to play first. I'm still not sure that's correct. If I should be playing first or second in this match, or in this format. This is fine. 3 lands, Augur of Bolus. I can bounce the Augur of Bolus. Extractor Demon eventually. Path to Exile for early threats. Yeah, this is a great hand. And I think we just play the Augur here. Yeah, I'm not going to play another tap land. No reason to slow down. Compulsive Research. Yes, please. Toss another one of our Skyfishers to the bottom, but that's fine. We're just going to keep on keeping on. Might as well get in for 1 point. I'm going to bounce this guy anyways. He considers blocking. I'm not sure why. Be an interesting pump fake. I have mutagenic growth. Haha, gotcha. And I'll just bounce this guy and play my Sanctum. And look to replay this next turn. Core Skyfisher bouncing his Knight. Alright. That's a pretty expensive way to get a 2-3 on the board. But sure. Compulsive Research. Over Augur of Bolas. I like that. You just be more efficient with my mana. I'll play a tap land. Discard one of our lands and play the Orzhov Guildgate. This gives me access to 2 of every color here, which is pretty nice, right? So does Dimir Guildgate, I guess, so it doesn't really matter. But that's something I like to do with a lot of these decks. Make sure I have access to 2 of everything, and then I'm usually pretty good to play whatever. Augur of Bolas. Alright, whiffs. That's fine. I'm feeling really good, though. This guy doesn't really seem to have anything. I'll Forbidden Alchemy if the Path to Exile doesn't have anything to hit. Deputy of Acquittals, not bouncing his Youthful Knight. Yeah, his deck seems pretty low power. This is the sort of thing I was talking about with Bant that just doesn't really seem to get there. Right, and Augur of Bolas has stopped most of his game. Spell Pierce, interesting. So there was an argument for me main phasing this. I'm not really worried about losing a Forbidden Alchemy, though. I don't really need to draw into anything. I'm going to be playing Extractor Demon soon. Life is going to be pretty good. Oh, Extractor Demon. This guy is pretty rough. In Limited, he's pretty good, I think. Venser's back my Extractor Demon. Just swings in for 2. Alright, fair enough. Well, that's fine. We play the Extractor Demon. I'm going to leave up Path to Exile here rather than play Gideon's Lawkeeper. There's nothing big that I want to tap down right now. And I think having the removal up is just safer. Now we'll play the Lawkeeper. Mystical Teachings. Alright, so now I'm a little bit worried. Maybe he's like an Esper deck, and he's like me. He's an Esper deck with a kind of motley collection of deplorables here. So I'm not super worried, though. But I'll start getting in with the Extractor Demon soon, and that'll put him on a pretty good clock. Alright, he has Cyclonic Rift. Interesting. So that's kind of his trump card here for games that are going long. I'll just get rid of this Venser. It's his best bounce target, and he seems to have a lot of bounce and such. So, sure. I believe we saw a Cyclonic Rift with the Mystical Teachings. Extractor Demon mills him. I'm going to mill myself once looking for things. I kind of have to do this all at once. I'm going to mill myself once looking for things to Unburial Rites, but mill him twice, because I'm also just kind of interested in thinning his deck and also seeing what it is. Gideon's Lawkeeper, Kraken Hatchling. I guess I milled myself twice, and we found no creatures, unfortunately. But I'm at 18, and he's not really presenting that fast of a clock. I mean, I get to replay most of my stuff. So I don't think his Cyclonic Rift is going to get there. We play a Dinrova Horror, bouncing his Talon Trooper. And then we just core Skyfisher. I want a flyer in the air rather than the Augur of Bolas. Also lets me bounce planes and do this. A little bit faster tempo. Alright, he has Crippling Chill for my dude. Wingcrafter. Alright, well, I'll eat a guy. I decided to go after the flying one. 2-1 first strike that's soul bonded seems a little bit more dangerous. Now we get to play a bunch of stuff. Inquisition of Kozilek. Alright. I might as well cast it. Pitfall Trap. Yeah, sure. One of these sort of weaker removal spells you have to play in these colors. So I'm pretty sure he's not black at this point. And I'm feeling pretty good about the game. Opponent's feeling pretty bad about the game. He concedes. I think it's correct. I mean, he doesn't really have a shot here. So, I see the Cyclonic Rift, and that seems to be the only card in his deck that's at all scary. And I board in a bunch of counter spells as a result, because if I just counterspell that one thing, then he's pretty much done with this motley crew of whatever. On to game 2. What do we have? Some stuff to play, but not really. Only the Desecration Demon. None of my counter spells, but it's got the right amount of land. Not the greatest of hands here. I decided to keep because it's got land and creatures, and I think I kind of just have to keep that as a limited player. But I'm really hoping to draw some of my anything, really. This is just not a good start. Grizzly Spectacle. Well, there's a beginning. I can just slow down whatever he's doing. Soul Warden. So it's interesting. He's kind of like a not very aggressive deck, and he's just really all in on Cyclonic Rift being able to win him the game, and he's just trying to hold out. We saw Kraken Hatchling in his yard when we milled him last time, so kind of crazy. Not really going to be that effective here, though. I'm not an aggressive deck, and I am going to have answers for his Cyclonic Rift, very likely. Right? I'm going to have more counter spells than he has Cyclonic Rifts. He does have Mystical Teachings. Yeah, see, his deck is kind of working at cross purposes. Core Hookmaster and Soul Warden on the same list is a little bit rough. Good for racing against the aggressive decks. Not very good against what I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do, I think, is what you want to be trying to do in this format. I'll bounce a land. I don't have the blue for casting Dinrova Horror or Tower Gargoyle, so, you know, missing a land drop here is not the biggest of deals. I probably even want to sandbag one of these lands. That way, if I draw Compulsive Research, I can do it. So if I can draw something else. Wall of Denial. Yeah, see, he's in a weird spot here. He swings in. Now, blocking this Core Hookmaster here is kind of interesting because this is something I don't want him to blink. And one of his ways, probably his best way of saving a creature is blinking it here. So maybe there's an argument I should block the Deputy of Acquittals, and then if he blinks the Deputy of Acquittals to save it, right, then I'm not getting a creature tapped down. At the same time, if I remove this Core Hookmaster, I'm removing basically his only good blink target, and he's only got one card in hand, so I'm betting on him not having blink here, is basically what it is. Or if it is blink, it's something like Deputy of Acquittals, and I'm not that blown out by it. Core Hookmaster down, and now I'm feeling really good about the game, because if he can't really tap down my creatures, then eventually I'm just going to get there. I've got my big Meat Shield Wall with the Desecration Demon. There's Compulsive Research. Maybe I should be sandbagging a land here. If I'm sandbagging a land, I guess I'm sandbagging the plains, though. I'm just going to hold up Grizzly Spectacle for any shenaniganry. And also to play around things like Deputy of Acquittal saving his dudes. I mean, I've got the wall. I don't sandbag my plains. I play it out. That's probably incorrect, given that I have Compulsive Research and any blue source I'm going to want to play. I'm getting a little nervous here, because eventually he draws into his Cyclonic Rift, and I'm a little bit unprepared for it right here. I mean, he'll deal 7, and then probably kill me next turn. Gideon's Lawkeeper. Well, I can't really let that live, so we're going to have to Spectacle that. Yeah, I can't have my guys getting tapped down. Alright, so we get to play Dinrova Horror. Start murdering his shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Stop him from being able to alpha strike me with a Cyclonic Rift is the main thing here. He discards a land, so he was sandbagging land as well. He gets to replay his guy, but there's nothing for him to blink. Kraken Hatchling. Yeah, his deck is working in odd directions here. And basically, as soon as I can find another blue source, I'll have Rewind, and then this game will just be over. I have Path to Exile as well. Plays Crippling Chill just to cycle through his deck. Interesting. Interesting that he played it on his turn. Because the card he's looking for is Cyclonic Rift, and I don't think he would have He couldn't Cyclonic Rift there anyways. He wouldn't have the mana. So interesting that he tapped it down on my turn, but it doesn't really matter a whole lot. And there's my second blue source, and so we're good to go. I can start tapping down his creatures. Probably start getting in the air. Venser, huh? Alright, well, I'm not going to use a counterspell on that. I can just replay it. Falconwrath Noble's a pretty big game. I'm wondering if I should play that instead of the Desecration Demon. This is a better blocker, though, ultimately. Mystical Teachings? Alright, I know what you're looking for. Show me the money. Yeah, well, that's not going to... You have your Spell Pierce? Nope. Okay. And that's game. This is the only card in his deck that could beat me, and we boarded in our counterspells to stop it. And so he's just left with a bunch of Kraken Hatchlings, Wall of Denials against a control deck. I would have boarded out a lot of this stuff if I could. Maybe his draft just didn't go well, but yeah, odd deck, and not a very difficult win. All right, on to the last match. Could I get another 3-0? I've been going 2-1 so often. Can we do it? Well, this hand is pretty good. I decided not to rush out the Augur of Bolas. We'll Sin Collector here, see what we can find. He has a Forbidden Alchemy. Alright. Unburial Rites, Flicker Wisp. His deck seems pretty good. Well, I think I'm taking an opportunity here. His deck seems pretty crazy. I'm actually pretty scared at this point. 2 Unburial Rites and a bunch of mill cards. Is this guy going to reanimate Gristlebrand? Seems a little crazy. Either way, Blade Splicer. Blade Splicer kind of makes me feel if I'd gone Inquisition of Kozilek, Augur of Bolas, we would have been better. That's probably the more correct line. This is one of the misplays that I think cost me this game. Spoiler alert. Going Inquisition, Augur of Bolas likely would have been much better. I kind of wanted to make sure that my Inquisition was going to hit something, though, because he hadn't played anything, and I wasn't sure. He gets in with his guy. Sure. Flicker Wisps, his Blade Splicer, and this is looking pretty over. I don't really have a lot here. I'm going to play the Tower Gargoyle. Inquisition grabs a Seagate Oracle. But this Blade Splicer is pretty mean. It's pretty big. Mist Raven, yep, bouncing my Tower Gargoyle. Sure. We take a bunch. We'll replay our Tower Gargoyle. Alright, he swings with the boys. We make our chumps as necessary, go down to 3. Unburial Rites is his Blade Splicer. And things aren't looking very good. Falconwrath Noble, can that stabilize me here? It's going to be rough. I'm going to have to lose the Noble here. Yeah, first strike gets me to 4. I'm at 1, I'm not dead. But really should have played Inquisition, Augur of Bolas as opposed to Sin Collector. Grixis Slave Driver, this is pretty over. I don't know why I'm tapping any mana. I shouldn't be showing him anything. Because what's going to happen here? Path to Exile. I'm not going to win this, though. He's going to get the zombie out. I should just be conceding, showing him as little as possible, I think. Yeah, I find the correct blocks eventually. Drain him for 2. I really don't feel like we're going to win this one, but... Arachna Spinner. Okay. Yeah, this creature is really solid. 5/7 with reach just beats pretty much everything in this format. There's not a whole lot else that beats it. Gideon's Lawkeeper is interesting. I play Extractor Demon, which is sort of going to be my win condition here. If I can just chump some stuff in front of this. Grizzly Spectacle. Alright, never mind. He had removal for my demon anyways. So we don't get the trade. We pretty much had to chump block anyways, though. So it's not like we were getting 2 for 1. We were already getting 1 for 0'd. I'm having trouble tapping with these signets. It's pretty late. I remember when I played these games, and I wasn't completely all there, which is part of the reason why I wasn't playing very well. Get my Extractor Demon just to bring back a Pit Keeper at this point. That way I can kind of just get as much stuff as I can here on the board. And Entreat the Angels, miracled off the top. That'll do it. That'll close this game out. It's possible we could have gotten there, but Entreat the Angels, ladies and gentlemen, is a pretty good card. Casting at X7. Yeah, this one's super over. I'm not gonna be able to drain him enough. Yeah, I don't know. I Forbidden Alchemy to try and find something, but there's nothing in my deck that's gonna solve 7 4/4 Flying Angels. So, Entreat the Angels, pretty good card. His deck seems pretty spicy. It's got removal. Like, this is almost just a better version of my deck. He even has a big bomb, Arachna Spinner, which is better than my bombs, I think. His deck is really good. His deck is like what my deck is trying to do, but better. Entreat the Angels, pretty nutty card. Alright, on to game 2, though. I get to go first. I decided to go first. I'm still not sure if that's correct. Seance? Seance could get me there. Maybe Seance is how I outvalue his deck. It's a possibility. Lone Missionary, interesting choice. I mean, we're both basically control decks. I see Delirium Skeins, which seems really weak. Night Terrors, which I guess he boarded in because he realized I was a control deck. Rewind. So these are a bunch of cards that are going to be pretty good in a control mirror. Like, even this Delirium Skynes is potentially justifiable because I have less stuff that that is going to have flashback and things of this sort. I don't know. This card is still pretty bad, though. I think we're just going to take the Night Terrors here. Rewind is a consideration, but I don't want him to take my Seance because that's basically what's going to get me there, I think, in this game, is having that extra value. I need as many value cards as I can, and taking a Rewind while he gets to take a Seance seems like a bad deal. I'm just going to take a Night Terrors here. Lone Missionary. I'm not really finding my mana, but Falcon Wrath Noble. We'll just trade damage here. I'll eventually drain back, I figure. I know he has Rewind up here, so I don't want to try and get my Seance out. I might just go for it here, though, because I'm not drawing blue mana. He lets it resolve, which is interesting. Lone Missionary gets in. Yeah, I feel like I have to be aggressive against this guy. I need to be the one trading life totals because his deck is going to outvalue me. And speaking of outvaluing me, here's Entreat the Angels on turn 7. And he's going to get a bunch of angels on the board. And there's 4 of them. And this game is over. Path is Flicker Wisp. Just for the giggles. This is super over, though. Trade off my Falcon Wrath Noble to have any sort of chance of surviving. Gives me something to Seance back on his turn. I'm fighting this one out, but it's not looking like it. If he has any removal for this Extractor Demon, we're done. Bring back my Falcon Wrath Noble. If he doesn't have removal, potentially we get there. Mist Raven. That's not good. That's bad. Yeah. I send him GG, he sends me the GGs, and that is the match. Beaten twice by Entreat the Angels. This guy's deck is pretty good. This is basically what I want to be playing when I'm playing Esper Control. Not that this deck was bad, I think this deck was solid, and I think this is the sort of deck you want to be doing in the format. The more I play it, and I haven't played as many online drafts lately. This one was from last Friday, and I'm just now commentating it. And I really haven't played any since then. I've just been playing a ton of paper, and I really think these 3 and 4 color control type decks are where you want to be. You know, he's just splashing green for an Arachnus Spinner. That seems fine, right? A big late game threat, easy to get there off the splash. But I'm really, as a result, because I like these sort of blue-black X type decks that are in the format. I really think that drafting the fixing, like Dimir Guildgates for these, is a really big deal. And drafting things like Crumbling Necropolis and Arcane Sanctum is a really big deal. I'll be doing a video probably later on, sort of recapping what I've learned about the format so far, both in paper drafts and in and online. But another 2-1. So at this point, we have 5 2-1s, a 1-3, and a 3-0. Which is really unfortunate because if I could just take one of the wins from a 2-1 and move it to another 2-1, I'd actually just go up 2 packs. So we've just kind of been skimming by on value and haven't really been getting the huge value we wanted because we haven't been opening that much great, and we just keep going 2-1 in our games through these little misplays, like not playing Augur of Bolus and Inquisition to Kozilek, I think cost us this first game because we took so much damage off the Blade Splicer. Like, we had win conditions this game with Extractor Demon as a way of getting there and just milling our opponent out, even if he has a bunch of angels, right? If we can... He doesn't have a ton of life gain, just like this Lone Missionary that he sided in, so he can out-control us, but there's still ways that we can kind of get through his better control deck, basically. But I think you want to be playing these really greedy control decks like this, right? And maybe not even main deck your Lone Missionaries. Keep them in the side and bring him in against the aggressive decks. So 2 really strong decks in the finals here, the 2-0 finals, and his deck was a little bit better, and he played a little bit better, so we lost. All right, that's it for me.